Starting. Okay. So, should we go to chapter 7?
Hmm.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Can we do one brief recap just to make sure 5 minute recap?
Yeah.
From
Yes.
your side. From your side.
From okay, from my
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Okay, from my side.
I speak for everybody, my sisters and my Bobby.
Yes.
Okay.
We do.
Yeah, all three of you speak from three. Okay.
Mhm.
So, so I was thinking, just to make sure we understand, पहले 6 chapters जो हो गए हैं हमारे, right? First 6 chapters are done. And there is a vision that Gita has presented in these 6 chapters. I will make sure we all understand that vision. A worldview, how to look at the world, how to see everything. If you put it all together, it forms a coherent worldview. So let me just make sure. I'm sure you all know it, but I just want to put it across again. And let's compare it with the worldview that we already have. So let's say there's one worldview, which is our view as a samsari, which we've always had, more or less. This is how we look at world. And there's an alternative viewpoint which Gita has presented, which it says is a better viewpoint. It leads to more peace and it's also more true. So our world point, and when you talk about these viewpoints, when you talk about philosophy, there are three things that usually people talk about in philosophy. They talk about the jiva, that is, what is our conception about the individual. That's one thing a philosophy explains. Like, Vedanta says an individual means this. Some other philosophy will say individual means this, and so on. So Gita also has a viewpoint on the individual. Then what is Jagat? So Jiva, Jagat. Jagat is what's our viewpoint of the world? What is this world, this universe, not just this earth, but this universe, this cosmos? And the third is Ishwar. What's the viewpoint on Ishwar? So Jiva, Jagat, and Ishwar. So we take these three and see how we typically see these things as a samsari, and what is Gita telling us? What is reality? How should we see them? So if you think about Jiva, right, we've before we kind of got involved in Gita and spirituality and all, we always thought everything was separate. There's a separate Jiva, and all the Jivas are their own identities, their own people, and we are separate from the world. And the world is full of disparate and separate things. There is, there are good things and bad things, and harmful things and beneficial things, and all these everything around in our world is all like a separate thing, all and separate from us and separate from each other, interacting with each other but very separate. And Ishwar also was a separate thing. We never thought Ishwar is like joined with us. We always thought Ishwar is somebody somewhere. We probably never thought about it too much, but somehow we felt in our mind that there is an Ishwar somewhere who we can pray to, but separate from us. So we pray to that Ishwar, and that Ishwar listens to us or doesn't listen to us. Maybe if we do good things, the Ishwar will listen to us, and the Ishwar will grant us happiness, or the Ishwar will grant us dukh. And when we get dukh, then we say, Ishwar, kyun? What did I do? मेरे को क्यों इतना दुख मिला? Right? And when we get sukh, we are very happy. We sometimes we even forget about the Ishwar when we get sukh. But if we are good, we will do some puja, karsari puja, and move on with our lives. So that is our viewpoint of the world. And not only that, we see ourselves as responsible for ourselves. In fact, we are taught to do that. You are responsible for your actions. You're responsible for your results. You are you're responsible for your destiny. There is a destiny, but within that too, you're responsible to make your own destiny. And if you do well, you're a good person. You do bad, you become a bad person. All these, this is sort of, we're very familiar with this. This is exactly how we've all grown up. Bad deeds need to be punished. I mean, nothing is wrong with them. I'm just saying there's a particular point of view where we have a feeling of ourselves as an individual who has a starting point and an end point. The starting point is our birth, the end point is our end, our death. We have to do things within this time which are good, so that in the next janam maybe we will get good things, or even in this janam we will be happier. And We are separate from the world, and this is sort of our worldview. Now, where is the intelligence in this? The world is not intelligent. We don't think a pathar is intelligent. We don't think that a planet is intelligent. We think the intelligence is in living beings. And somehow things got together and created this intelligence. Somehow, just like in an artificial intelligence, some neurons started firing, whatever started happening, and intelligence got created. So intelligence resides in the beings, in the jivas. And some jivas have more, some have less, but it's not residing in the world around us. The world is jada. Jada means inert. And the jivas are sentients, sentient. They are alive. They are not inert. They are chetana. उनमें चेतना है, right? So jada and chet. So that is sort of our worldview. The Gita is saying, no, no, that's not a good way to think about world, because this kind of a worldview, when you have, by its very nature, it creates stress. It creates tension. Because because you are what? In your mind, you know you're going to go away one day. You're a small non-existent portion of a huge, big universe. Everything is conspiring against you. You can be gone like this. One thunderstorm and you can be washed away, or one big calamity and you're gone, one earthquake and you're gone, that kind of a thing. So there is this kind of thinking with like this, which pits you against everything else, or thinks about you as you think of like I'm a separate thing with very limited capabilities, just creates stress. And also, then you're trying to the kind of with this worldview, when we work thinking I am responsible for everything. So that also creates stress. So this is not a good worldview. Eventually, we all have this. So Gita presents a different worldview. The worldview of the Gita is that Ishwar and Jagat and Jiva, they are all totally connected. They are not separate from each other. There is one entity or one thing, all of them, and that thing itself is intelligent. It's not Jada, it's intelligent. Intelligence is in every part of the system of this universe. That is why the universe is orderly. And this orderliness is called intelligence. Ishwar is not a separate being sitting somewhere. Ishwar is part and parcel of this universe. This universe itself is Ishwar. And you are not a separate being sitting somewhere. You are also part and parcel of the universe. Your body comes from the universe. Your mind comes from the universe. Everything that you can think of and see, everything, it comes from food. It comes from universe. When when we are born, we are two cells, right? Which have merged and that kya hota hai, zygote or whatever it's called. And from there on, we become this big person. It's all come from food. It's all come from elements which we've been taken from the universe. So we are part and parcel of the universe. And our intelligence also, which we call intelligence, is also part of the intelligence of the universe. It has been localized in our heads or wherever, in our neurons or whatever you call it. But it's all part and parcel of the intelligence and the order of the universe. Because the universe knows how to behave or what is in orderly fashion, that is why our brain can also function in an orderly fashion. If the neurons are firing, that's not because of our intelligence. That's because of the inherent intelligence of the cells itself or of nature itself. That there will be some electrical connections, which is why the neurons will fire. So the core of what we call intelligence is coming from, anyway, it's coming from nature, right? So this is Gita's worldview. It says everything, and how do we think about ourselves? Think about yourself as things are given to you. It's not as if you yourself, by your own self, became something great or not. Everything that you can think of, whether it's resources, intelligence, whatever else, capability, it's all given to you by this world. And you can say, to simplify it, you can say it's all given by Ishwar. And everything that you're doing as a part of the system. So you're giving it back into the system. Whatever good or bad you're doing, you're giving it back into the system. And the system is creating results which you are facing and which you're appropriating to yourself. So this feeling of doership and the feeling of that I am the doer and I got the result is an appropriation. It's something which our ego has said, okay, I have, it's not ours. We've appropriated it. जैसे क्या कैसे कहते हैं मतलब जाके हमने उस पर कब्जा कर लिया है हमने कह दिया कि हमारी है एक्चुअली नहीं है इफ यू रियली थिंक अबाउट इट इट्स नॉट ट्रू जैसे कोहिनूर अब has been appropriated by the English. It's actually Indian, that kind of a thing. So our ego has a way of appropriating things and saying, "Oh, things happened," and you say, "Oh, I did it," that kind of thing. So this is Gita's worldview. So now when you look at everything from this worldview, there is no stress because from this worldview, you are not alien from the world. You're not just born and going to die, and that's the end of you. This being born and dying and being born again and dying and all this is all part of the cycle of the world. Your work that you do as part of the system. You're doing what has been assigned to you, meaning your swadharma. You've been formulated in a particular way. There are certain tendencies you have, and there are certain skills you have. You deploy them and you do your work. It's an offering back into the system. The results are offering back from the system to you. You just do your thing. And actually, the funny thing is, it's very enjoyable because when you do what you're built to do and what comes naturally to you and what is the right thing to you, and when you're totally harmonized into it, you just enjoy the doing. You do not have to wait for the results. So, this sort of living, Gita calls living in harmony with the world, harmony with ecology. And when you live harmoniously with the world, happiness follows, stress goes away. Our habit is to live without this harmony. We live, we create resistance by saying, no, this is me. No, 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 this can't be the world. This is me. When you appropriate results and appropriate actions for yourself, which are not true, it creates resistance. Whenever you say, whenever you claim something which you have no reason, business to claim, it will create tension because I'm claiming it, but actually deep inside, I don't have any control. Tomorrow, if it falls according to my claim, it's great, but it could fall in a different way, and then you're stressed. So Gita's vision is one of harmony with nature. Okay, so I'm sure this is all this you knew, because we've kind of discussed it, but I just want to encapsulate it so we don't forget as we leave chapter 6 and go to 7.
But it's also appropriate to view the stress and the way that we behave instinctively as part of the system. That is also part of how,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. But the only thing is you have to see for yourself whether you're creating an excuse or whether it's genuinely that is the case. Because otherwise, there is nothing, whether you read the Gita or don't read the Gita, it's all part of the system. It's part of the system anyway, of course.
Yeah, exactly that.
But there is something that you have to do to get in alignment with the system, and that's why we are reading the Gita.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What else? Any questions? Any thoughts? Madhu Didi, are you in total agreement with the Gita or this interpretation of the Gita?
I am just in agreement with what you say, but I don't know that I follow everything.
So if you don't follow everything, then you have to ask.
No.
Otherwise, what's the fun? I just keep talking
I
unnecessarily.
comprehend what you're saying.
Ah,
It's just that I don't execute that way. I comprehend exactly what you said just now.
okay.
Totally get it. But it's not embedded in
Okay.
my
So execution is
neurons.
a different thing. That's a long process.
Yeah.
But do you comprehend and do you agree? Or do you have some doubts about it?
No, I don't know that I have doubts. I mean,
That means you have doubts. If you don't know, you have
no,
doubts.
no,
Yeah.
I don't have doubts.
Huh.
I mean, like I said, it's just I comprehend, I understand what you said
Hmm.
completely, but
Whether we are able to do it practically or not, that is,
yeah,
Would you
it's
like to
going
be
to
able to
take,
do it practically? Would you
we
like
would
to
like
change?
to, but as you said, it's
yes,
going to take a while because first you have to understand it and then you have to start implementing it into your life, which you've yet, I think, not started yet to do.
Yeah, so I'm saying, forget
But
about the
first you have to,
implementation part.
yeah,
वो तो
yeah.
चलो दूर की बात है. But first, let's say whether you understand and you agree. I mean,
Mm.
would you actually like to
I would
change?
like to agree. I would like to agree.
Okay, one by
Really.
one. Huh? First, let me just
Yeah.
just finish with Madhu Didi.
I comprehend what you're saying. It's fine,
Huh.
that everything is connected and that, what we are doing is we shouldn't be appropriating it because we are actually just giving back to the world what the world has given to us, and that everything is should need to be grateful for everything that you have, your abilities, your privileges, your luxurious life, your whatever, so I understand that. I'm not disagreeing with that. This is the Gita's message.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So you understand that this is Gita's message. You understand the message, but
Yes.
there's a but there. Like for example, do you think it's not a meaningful message? It's not practical. It's like it's a nice thing to hear and say, but it's not doesn't really affect or doesn't touch my day-to-day life. Is that what you're trying to say beneath the words?
Yeah, I mean, it has to, but that's implementing it. Implementing it is not, I haven't implemented it yet.
But then none of us have, Didi.
Yeah.
That is true.
So,
But I mean to say, like, um, it's
the
yeah.
thing that I didn't understand was that the Jagat, you said Jagat is inert. So, like, all the inert things also have life in them. They are sentient.
So see, that's a definition of inert. In
Yeah.
in Vedanta, Jagat is not inert.
Yeah.
Jagat is
But the
Chetan.
chair that's lying here, the
Yeah. So
table,
so so
they all have life in them. They are
but life.
sentient.
See, it depends on how we define life.
Yeah.
If we define life as uh, you know somebody who has consciousness,
Yeah.
and consciousness defined as
Sentience.
self-reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
That essentially that is what life is, right? You can even say it doesn't even have to grow. You can be everything, but you have the ability to reflect on yourself, correct? That's what life
Mm-hmm.
is, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we in science we define life. We can
Mm-hmm.
also say that they grow and they die and they are born, but that everything is born and they grow and they die.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, then from that perspective, it doesn't have life.
Yeah.
But if you define life as chetana, meaning not the chetana that we understand. Every time we take consciousness, we think it's consciousness means self-reflection. But if you define life as the as intelligence, right? Which means also again not the intelligence that we understand it as intelligence or the order of the world which on which everything is based, then they are also intelligent. In other words, in other words, the core substratum
Mm-hmm.
of me. Let's say I am this Nitu. Right now, I'm identified strongly with my sense of self that I can reflect, I can think, I can experience, I can do all this. This is what I'm identified with. But actually, none of those is really me. All of these things, my ability to reason, all of that can be outsourced. And now you can see how AI is there. It can be outsourced to an AI.
No.
Meaning, in other words, actually, in other words, what I'm saying is that there is a mechanism for how I reason. And that mechanism has to do with the interaction of neurons, right? And how I think, which I can replicate now in a way. We are starting to replicate now. I'm not saying that we are there, but we are starting to. Okay, maybe I'm putting this too confusingly. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, when I die, all of this will go. My cells will stop functioning. My ability to reason will go. My ability to see, perceive will go, right? And my ability to sense will also go, because they are all mechanisms. But they're mechanisms of on what? There has to be some basic thing on which these things are supplemented, which gives them being, right? That basic thing is what Vedanta defines as Chetna, is what Vedanta defines as intelligence. That intelligence will always be there. And that is me also, and that's the rocks and the universe also. So if you really parse through the layers, there is this basic fundamental intelligence. On top of that, there are mechanisms which have apparatus and applications which have been built, right?
Software.
Because and those applications have been built over time with progress. We used to have a very primitive brain, maybe nothing at all, and then we suddenly over time became bigger and better and better brain. Just like in the world today, we are having more and more complex apps being built. But the but beneath all of this, there is something, and Vedanta says that that something is what it calls Chetana, meaning that something is alive. That's if that something was not alive, then none of the things on top of it would ever function. They would never be alive. Just by combining forms, you don't get experience. Like we earlier we had said about electricity, right? You can design all kinds of motors and fans and all kinds of apparatus. But at the base of it, there has to be something like electricity which makes the whole thing run. So that is Chetna. And that is universal. And what Vedanta, when it says Tattvamasi, it says that is what you are. Essentially, that's what you are. And we feel that if I lose, and this is the message of Vedanta, that if I lose the apparatus, if I lose the sensing ability, if I lose the ability to experience the way I experience, if I lose the ability to feel, if I lose the ability to interact, then I will be very unhappy. I will be missing something. And Vedanta says, not at all. You will be missing nothing, because that basic thing which you are, which we call, okay, electricity or whatever, that basic underlying thing that you are, is complete and full in itself. And a simple sort of analogy it gives for that is what happens to you when you sleep. In deep sleep, you've basically pretty much lost almost all of these apps which are your brain and all the things. You've lost all of them. You're not unhappy. You're not gone, you know? So the main, this is, if you really want to think about it, the real message of Vedanta and also of the Gita is have confidence in yourself as that very basic thing. Have confidence. Know that there is a floor underneath all of this. It's a solid floor, stand on it. Don't keep swimming on the apps and wondering इसके नीचे तो कुछ है ही नहीं. Once these apps are gone, once these mind and body is gone, I am gone. No, that is not true. Today also you can stand on that basic ground and you'll see these apps are nothing. You can detach yourself from these apps. Not detach yourself, but you will find yourself detached from these apps. Because the foundation, the floor is always there. That is what Vedanta is saying. And Gita's message, which I just told you, this is Gita's message too. We can recap this message at the end of the Gita. But in the first 6 chapters, this is not Gita's message, right? So far. So far, Gita has introduced us to a new way of looking. It has said the new way of looking is integrated whole, one intelligence, all of that. Because when we have that way of looking, couple of things happen. One, we start getting less stressed. So we are in a better position to say, to think that yes, it's possible that even without all these appurtenances, without all these things, these apps, I'm still okay. That's possible. And second, this frame is a much better jumping off point to the message of the Gita than the frame that we are all separate. So it's giving you a new framework so that you can then go deeper using this framework. इसके बाद, now when we talk about Ishwar, we are not going to be talking about Ishwar as a person somewhere. We're talking about Ishwar as this system, right? इसके बाद, when we talk about ourselves, we are talking about ourselves as part of the system. So now it has introduced us to this new way of looking. And then we go into the chapter 7 to 18. And mainly, actually, the 17th, 16, 17, 18 तो बहुत ही tactical chapters हैं. But between here and chapter 15, it delves deeper into what I just told you, which is that what you truly are is this floor. And you have no need to worry, right? That's what it's trying to say.
So, Nitu, how do you then, okay, so how do you live your life? You just continue living your life, just thinking that whatever is happening is part of the.
Well, for now, you have to live your life as a Karam Yogi. That's what Gita is saying. So the vision I just gave you
Mhm.
is the vision of a Karam Yogi. So I gave you two visions, right? I said, let's compare. So
Yeah,
one is the vision of the samsari.
yeah,
A samsari is the person who thinks everything is separate. I am separate. I am here for a limited period of time. I am the doer. I am the one who owns the results. All stressful, stressful life.
mm-hmm.
That's a samsari's life.
Yeah,
Gita is saying, no, transition from that to the life and the viewpoint of a Karam Yogi.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it gradually builds our understanding of Karam Yogi. In the beginning, it said Karam Yogi means don't pay attention to results, pay attention to the work, right? Then it introduced Ishwar, then all that. So eventually, by the end of chapter 6, we have this framework, this whole framework of a Karam Yogi. It's not just about how you work, it's about how you see the world.
Yeah. So
And then
when,
the work falls, yeah. So
so
you
when,
right now, it's telling you to live as a Karam Yogi.
yeah. So we can continue living the way we are living
Yeah.
and do whatever we are doing to the best of our ability
Yes.
without any expectation of being rewarded or saying
No,
that
no,
I.
even with expectation is fine. You can live with, you cannot, it's impossible to work without expectation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, live as you're living,
Yeah.
enjoy your life,
Mm-hmm.
continue to work.
Mm-hmm.
And work का मतलब क्या है? Work is just a part. It's an interaction. Work is an interaction.
Yeah.
Continue to interact with people,
Yeah.
whether in the context of work or in the context of your personal life. Continue to interact with people in a way that you enjoy the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That interaction should be the right interaction. When you're talking to your children, do the right thing. When you're doing your work, do the right thing. Talking to Nittu, do the right thing. Okay? Do the right thing and um, enjoy it. You can expect reward. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you expect something good. That's why you're doing something. So expectation is fine. But don't count on getting that result. That result may come to you or may not because it is not in your control. There are too many factors which determine whether that thing will happen or not. You are part of it, but you're not the only factor. Things could go wrong in so many ways. So don't bank on the result. You can expect it. Do your best. Don't bank on it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get crushed if it doesn't happen. And how will you not get crushed? You have to put your mind somewhere. So when you're doing your work, don't put your mind on the result, which is totally uncertain. Put it on the act itself.
Mm-hmm.
When you're focused on the act itself, you are enjoying the moment right now. So if you're talking to me,
Mm-hmm.
right, focus on just this conversation right now rather than, okay, what will need to think
Mm-hmm.
of me, right? Or vice versa. You don't do that. I probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, so um, focus on the work itself and remember that the result will fall as it may. You can continue. If the result is not happening the way you like it, course correct, change, do everything that you can to get the right result. But if you start enjoying the work itself, the results will stop mattering that much. It's not that you give up on the result, it's actually that you start enjoying the work
So
and
Nitu,
realize that you really don't need the results to enjoy. The work itself can give you enjoyment.
so when our kids were younger, we would tell them, "Beta, work hard, practice, um, and that makes you better, etc." Now with the grandkids and with the knowledge of Gita, is that still the right thing to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? You should work hard. Gita says work hard.
Yeah,
I think what is not right is to tell the kids that if you don't come first in your class,
yeah,
somehow you are
yeah,
not good enough. You're not working to get first in the class.
yeah.
You're working because it's the right thing to
Right.
do. And
Got it.
some people, and maybe you have the ability to come first, maybe you don't. Not
Yeah,
everybody is an academic genius, right? Only one person in the whole class will come first. What about the rest? They are also there,
Yeah.
right? And not only that, so this was the initial part of the Karma Yoga. Then Gita went further. It said, let's complete the picture, which is how you interact with people and how you work. Then it says, remember, there is Ishwar, intelligence in everything around you. And even when you work, when you are putting in your effort, if you are thinking, oh, it's me, I'm putting in the effort and I'm doing all of that, you're mistaken. All the things which you're doing to do these interactions, to put in the effort, are coming from God, from Ishwar, from the world around you. Remember that. Remember that you're part of a system. So, to help you remember that, remember to be grateful. If you are grateful and you remind yourself to be grateful, you will remember. You will remember and you will continue to be in the present. You can't be, see, the thing about gratefulness is you can't be grateful and be looking at the future. If you're saying, I'm grateful for what I have, your mind and focus is on what you have, not on what you don't have. When you're desiring something, when you want something, your focus is on what you don't have and you want in the future. So your focus is in the future. But when you're being grateful or you're praying or whatever, your focus is completely on the present. You're not grateful for a desire that I will have that. You're grateful for what you have right now.
Mhm.
So it's all of these things, they combined together, this worldview and this way of looking at things combined together create a mindset which is called a Karam Yogi's mindset, which is different from the mindset of a samsari. And this mindset is very important to have if you want to make spiritual progress. You can't make spiritual progress if you have the mindset of a samsari. You will struggle. So, living in the present, appreciating the world around you, enjoying the moment, um, having no conflict within yourself. Okay, I am thinking one thing and doing another. I'm doing what I think is right. There is no conflict. Doing that, um, enjoying your work, doing what is right, and then enjoying what you're doing, being at peace with the fact that things may not pan out the way that you want them to pan out. And I'm at peace. It's okay. I'll try my best. It's okay if they don't pan out. All of this create a very different mindset. It creates a mindset which is calm and peaceful and happy and well connected, fitted with the world. It creates a mindset where you're in alignment with the world, in alignment with the cosmos. You may think, actually, I used to think that this will make me a recluse or a different kind of a person. I will not be in alignment. Actually, no, it's just the reverse. We are fully aligned with the world. We interact completely with the world when this happens. We can talk to anybody without हिचकिचाहट, without a fear of expectation कि वो मैं तो उसको बोल दूंगा वो मुझे वापस I don't know how that person will react back to me. Should I or should I not interact with the person? No. You can help because in your mind you are completely clear that I am doing out of the right thing to do. I'm doing the right thing. How that person reacts back to me is not in my control. That's fine. It will not diminish you if the person doesn't react properly. And you'll find the reason why this works is because you'll find people start reacting back and in a very positive way. Everybody deep in their mind, wants to not be a samsari. They all want to be a karma yogi. They may not understand it, they may not recognize it, but they all deeply understand that there is a way of living that they're doing which is causing them stress. And that is why they instinctively, whenever you see a sadhu or a person, you instinctively get drawn to that person because you want to be like that. We just don't have the confidence that we can be like that. We have never stepped on the path. So that is why this works. So that's the thing that Gita is asking us to do based on the first 6 chapters. And this is preparatory work. Okay. This is not the end. This is sort of the first shatakam, first 6.
But
Into a question for you.
You'll automatically be worried, ecology will be part of it. You will think about the planet. You will think, you'll live differently. Sorry, what Suresh bhaiya, you were saying something?
Saying, what are the cells, body cells, got to do with Chetna? Any connection?
I mean, see, like I said, depends on how you define Chetna, right?
Exactly. Okay.
Right. So the way Gita defines Chetna is that when the body cells, they are all behaving in an orderly fashion. कोई भी आप cell को लोगे, you can expect how it will behave. There'll be a nucleus. It'll generate, RNA, protein, RNA, then DNA. The DNA will generate RNA, then RNA will generate proteins, right? And it will release those proteins into the system. There'll be some gates which will open and close depending on concentration of chemicals around it. So all that is part of the system. Your cells are doing what my cells are doing and everybody else. All of them are doing a particular thing. So the fact that there is order, that every cell is doing what it's supposed to do, even those which are malignant are doing what they are supposed to do when they get malignant. Okay? That is intelligence. That is
That
what is meant by intelligence.
no, that is, you said the previously, but that is before intelligence. You said that is
Chetna. That is intelligence.
so the cells are basically working as your Chetna in your body.
So Chetna is that which is underlying the cells
Even
too,
the cells.
which is underlying everything, which is making things, we are taking this order for granted. Like we just take for granted that cells are going to operate like this. That they're going to create and there'll be a cell wall and there'll be a cell membrane and all of these things we just take for granted.
We take that for granted, but you don't
Exactly.
know what's going to happen.
No, we take it for granted because we think we don't understand that it is Chetna which is making that
Intelligence,
happen.
which is
That this Chetna is everywhere. Even like you say, this is a rock. It's an inert rock, but the rock behaves like rocks are supposed to behave. It has molecules. They are combined together into crystalline forms, and those crystalline forms have properties which you can completely study and understand. They will behave like that. When igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, all these things are there. They follow a process. Where does all this come from? Why do they follow this process? So when you really come down to elemental things, at the end of the day, what are we? Just a collection of cells, basically just a collection of molecules, a collection of electrons and protons, just like the same electrons and protons in rocks. But those electrons and protons themselves are behaving in a particular way. There are laws. There is a law in this world which makes those electrons and protons behave in a particular way. That law is a representation of the Chetana of this world. If those
Okay.
laws did not behave the way they did, I would not be sitting here as an intelligent person. I am sitting here as an intelligent person because my brain can process things. It processes things because the components of the brain behave the way it is supposed to behave. Each cell, each neuron behaves the way it's supposed to behave. each electron and proton behaves the way it's supposed to behave. That's why I process everything. That's why I can say, okay, I'm intelligent. But we only see this top level intelligence. Only two is intelligent and Suresh is intelligent. What Gita is saying is no, no, no. the this intelligence is derived from the intelligence of atoms and protons. It's derived from the even atoms and protons. Kya hai? It's derived from basic intelligence and law. We don't even know all the things. We don't even know what is beneath the atoms and the protons. There must be other things. So it's derived from laws and intelligence which permeate this universe everywhere. That is Chetna. That is the fundamental substrate. That is Chetna, and that is what you are. In reality, in essence, that's what you are. Not this form of that compilation of the brain and body which you call yourself.
Okay.
That is what Vedanta said.
That's fine. I'm just had a question. That's all.
No, no, it's okay. I'm sorry. I went into my soapbox.
No. You went in the right direction. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Didi, please, Didi, I feel like you must ask. If you don't agree with something, if you have doubts, if you feel this is not talking to you, I'm not sure whether I can answer all of those questions, but you should ask so that we can all discuss.
No,
Otherwise,
I'm understanding what you're saying. And I mean, I
but
get the
I feel like something about the Gita is not talking, is not reaching you. You
no,
feel,
it's not reaching me. It's myself who's not making the effort to absorb it. But what you said now makes a lot of sense. When I asked you about the table and the chair being inert and if they have life, well, the way you explained it, I could comprehend that. Okay, the chair has the material, it has the molecules, it's behaving like it's supposed to behave.
right,
You know, the rock is behaving like, so I'm looking at the grass outside, I'm thinking, okay, the grass is growing, it's behaving like it's supposed to behave, and this Chetna, the world cosmic intelligence, is directing
everything, yes,
everything that has to be done. The way
right,
it is done is the way it's going to be. So it explains that,
correct.
So I'm fine with that. It's it's just sometimes difficult to comprehend it all, and to attribute the doership to somebody else, like when something is not going right, you always say, maybe I made the wrong decision, but you made the decision based on the information you have at that point. It could be the right decision or the wrong decision, but then if you are not the doer, then the Chetna did it.
Yeah,
If the right decision was made, Chetna did it.
absolutely.
So if you compile it in that manner and say, I didn't make the wrong decision. So many times, I will think about daddy. When Suresh goes through a little difficult time with his whatever heart, I actually think about daddy. And I think that he was here and he did tell me at that time, and I can never forget that. He said, if you need me to do any diagnostics, I will do it. At that time, I think I was just finishing my residency, but I took him to the cardiologist. They did a stress test. The stress test was okay. And we didn't go for an angiogram. So many times I think he was here. Why didn't we do an angiogram at that time? And I think of it mostly when I'm seeing Suresh, when he goes through some stuff. And I said, what a bad decision I made. He went back and he was here. He could have had it done. But then I think back now on it and I feel like that's the decision we made with the information we had at that time. So if you think about it that way, you can justify it, and justify in the sense, not justify it to yourself, but we did the best at the time with the knowledge we had, or with what the time was. 50 years ago, angiograms were not done so rapidly and so quickly, and based on the cardiology, and then Mita got it done over there too. So so sometimes when you think of it that way, you can come to a harmonious place. but you don't always think like that. I don't always think like that. But I'm comprehending what you're saying. It's just, yeah, it's a very good way to think about it. And
At
on
that
the
time,
huh?
we were both very young, and
Yeah,
we did whatever we took him to. I took him to a cardiologist.
yeah,
He
I
took him to
know.
a
Yeah,
cardiologist.
yeah,
That was their opinion at that time, that given
yeah.
the risks, he should not. I remember they said, given the risks and given the results of the stress test, he should not go through an angiogram. So I don't think you should feel guilty about it.
No, I mean, it just many, many times it just occurs to me, and it's just natural. You think about it, especially when Suresh goes through these angiograms like
Yeah.
every third year, second year. It just occurs to me. But then when you think about it in this way, that is how that cosmic intelligence worked. For whatever reasons, that is how it was meant to be. You know, then you can come to a harmonious place, which is fine. But you have to, it's difficult to implement it all the time, is
This
what
one
I'm
you
saying.
want to think about in the Karam Yogi way, which is you did the right thing, you did the best you could, the
Right.
results were not in your hands.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. So, no, I'm comprehending everything you're saying.
And the thing about it is, if you don't do the best that you can, so you should not, one doesn't feel, actually, it's possible to not feel guilty because you don't know what the results are going to be,
Yeah.
right? But the trick is to do the best that you can,
Yeah.
right? Then you can't feel guilty. If somehow we don't do the best that we can, then I find I can't get rid
Yeah.
of the guilt.
Yes. Yes. That's
Then
true.
the guilt comes because we all
Right.
know deep in our mind.
And Didi, just imagine two cardiologists told us not to get the angiogram. If he still
Yeah.
got the angiogram and something would have happened to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you would have blamed yourself. Yeah, more
Yeah.
guilty.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
but
Yeah.
did he have symptoms, by the way? Why do
Yeah,
Yes,
people
he
think
had.
of all
he
this?
definitely had
He had
symptoms. He
angina. He
definitely
had
had
angina
angina.
symptoms.
But I think even the angina, I don't know that they understood that it was angina. Otherwise, they would have done something. But whatever, that is way past. Yeah, he definitely had angina. Yeah. Anyhow, that's just besides the point. But I just made that point
Right, to illustrate.
to illustrate the fact of cosmic intelligence. And on the positive side, I also feel that there have been things in my life which have just fallen into my lap without any effort of me, literally. And so on the positive side,
One of
that,
them is sitting right next to you.
yeah,
Thank
true,
you.
true. And so there is cosmic, if you talk about it that way, there is definitely cosmic intelligence. I can recount many things that have happened and just fallen into my lap when I needed it the most. So that in my mind, that is cosmic intelligence, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, but
Yeah,
like if you feel some things you don't agree or don't understand or whatever, please ask.
indefinitely. I'm not shy about that.
So now, before we end, I thought let me just introduce you to chapter 7. Then next time we will be in chapter 7. So now chapter 7, the main thing about chapter 7, the main sort of fundamental framework, fundamental thing that chapter 7 talks about, it says there are two types of gyan. Okay? Two types of knowledge. One is called the para gyan.
Mhm.
Para means sabse uncha. So
Okay.
like Paramatma, right? Para. And the other is the apara gyan. Apara means jo para nahi hai, lower gyan. So higher gyan and lower gyan. Two kinds of knowledge. And it says, अभी तक हमारी जो सारी knowledge है ना, it's all the lower ज्ञान. सारी अपरा ज्ञान है. कैसे मेडिकल नॉलेज है या इवन नॉलेज ऑफ इंसानों की नॉलेज है या तकनीकी नॉलेज है, ऑल नॉलेज, इट्स ऑल लोअर नॉलेज. इवन द नॉलेज ऑफ गॉड जैसे हमारी है, इवन द नॉलेज ऑफ स्क्रिप्चर्स, नॉलेज ऑफ वेदांता इज ऑल्सो अपरा ज्ञान.
Wow.
And paragyan kya hai? Paragyan is the knowledge of that which gets the knowledge. The knowledge of that who gets the knowledge, who experiences the knowledge, who seeks the knowledge, who wants the knowledge. That is called paragyan. So something to think about. We'll go into more detail next time.
The once again, go over it once again. The two. One is what is we all the time, what we think.
Yes, what we
That
are
is the
always
lower
thinking when
gyan.
we think about knowledge, right? What do we think
Yeah,
about?
that
A
is
knowledge of an
the
external object.
yeah. And what is the upper one?
The paragyan, the higher knowledge, is the knowledge of the one who wants the knowledge, who's seeking the knowledge, or who's getting the knowledge. So there is always in knowledge, there is always subject and object. Correct? So अभी तक हम क्या सोचते हैं, मुझे knowledge चाहिए, I want to know about artificial intelligence. That is my current fad. So artificial intelligence is an object which I want to know. Now, is artificial intelligence knowledge higher knowledge or lower knowledge?
Lower.
Lower, according to Gita, because it is a knowledge of an object outside. Howsoever valuable it is. Let's say I want to know about my son and how he's thinking. That's also a lower knowledge. Very useful knowledge, so I can relate better with him. But it's still lower knowledge. Let's say I want knowledge about God. What does Gita say about God? What does Gita say about life after death? What happens in various stages, कहाँ तुम जाते हो, कहाँ से जाते हो, right? All this knowledge. Upper knowledge or lower knowledge,
Lower.
right? Because it's knowledge of something
Yeah.
as opposed to knowledge of, even knowledge of Ishwar itself. What is God? Even knowledge of consciousness. What is consciousness? You can think of any experience, any knowledge. You can go into what is called nirvikalpa samadhi. And tum samadhi mein ho, you're experiencing deep peace. Lower knowledge. Because it's an experience of something. आज है कल नहीं है. You get out of the samadhi, then you're experiencing something else. So it's all of something or some experience or some feeling or something which you are experiencing or you're knowing. That's why it calls it lower knowledge. But it says the upper knowledge is the knowledge of the knower. Who is it who is wanting to experience? What is it that wants this knowledge? When you know the subject of the knowledge, not the object of the knowledge, when you know when you're talking about the subject of the knowledge, that's called paragyan. So you can't even talk about the subject of the knowledge as an object. You can't say, oh, मैं ये हूँ, मेरी ये qualities हैं, because then you made it into an object, right? Then again, you made the subject also into an object. Let's say, oh, what is my consciousness? What's the deep me inside that is knowing? Let me know that. So when you look at it like that, then you made that thing also into an object. You're saying, okay, now I am wanting to know about myself. Then the question will be, who is it that's wanting to know about yourself? Who is it who is getting the knowledge about yourself? So that is why the apara gyan is all we can know. How to know the para gyan is a very different animal altogether. Okay?
So
Which we
isn't
will
not
get
the
into next
same
time.
as self-knowledge?
Yes, it's exactly same as self-knowledge. But see, the difference is when you say self-knowledge, we are still wanting to know. You'll say, Nitu, tell me about the self. So you'll be thinking about the self in your mind. Oh, that is what the self is. Self is like that. You've made the self into another object, another thing which you are getting knowledge of.
So is it
Correct?
not the same as Samkhya Yoga?
not not the same as Sankhya Yoga. It's not the same as how do I always know? Because this kind of knowledge about yourself, you can't get as an object. You can't say somebody tell me about me. I want to know about me. You can't because then you made the me into an object, and your brain is receiving the knowledge about that object. So you've converted the self into an object, and now you're asking for the knowledge of the self. Correct? So now this is it's just to set you up to set you up on how to think about the self. So just this one framework, it just sets us up. It's very easy now to say, anything that I want to know, I want to learn, becomes aparagyan. Right? So how do I know myself? There's a different way of knowing yourself. The way you know yourself is by knowing that I'm already there. I'm there. Behind every aparagyan also, there is me. That I told you now, that fundamental substrate, which is there beneath everything, which is there beneath the cells or beneath anything, beneath all knowledge. Okay, so bas, we'll talk more next time. Both हो गया. ठीक है? Now we can discuss if there's any question or anything you want to chat. But Rupa कहाँ है?
Rupa?
Rupa, last time, because you were
I
showing
think,
face, you were talking.
I think Rupa left in between.
No, she is muted.
She's muted. Rupa, you're muted.
How do we get to her?
No,
Actually,
Madhusiti,
doesn't matter. She
a
may be
message came, it
coming and
said Rupa
going. She may be
left.
coming and going.
Oh, okay.
Probably she would have been somewhere.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, acha, acha.
Rupa,
You
why
know,
don't you switch on the
no, no.
video? Why are you doing this, Rupa?
No,
Why are you
no.
doing this to
There was
us?
a call coming through, and I tried to disconnect that, and I got disconnected from the meeting. So then I rejoined. I missed just a fraction of it, but I rejoined then.
Okay.
So define what is paragyan and aparagyan.
Yeah, that's too deep.
Okay.
That's the right
Lower
answer.
knowledge and upper knowledge.
Yes, you got it. More than us. More than me.
Yeah,
She was
all
very
the
close.
knowledge we have is the lower knowledge. That's all I understood.
See?
Yeah.
Are we disconnected now from the recording?
I can disconnect. You want me to disconnect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. How do I do it? Stop recording.